Brian Postlethwaite. I'm going to talk about referrals. How many know about referrals already, or know about FIRE, and who's actually had a play with the stuff? Yeah, some. Excellent. So that's me, Brian Postlethwaite. I'm a solutions architect, part of the FIRE core team, a few other things. I'm on the .NET stack, so I'm a developer and one of the contributors, and have one of the servers, and I write a hardware, just because that's what I do. Okay, so what is a referral? It's what we're going through today. What workflows are involved, what challenges there are, how FIRE participates with the referrals, and then just to go into a little actual detail on something, we're going to look at actually creating an outgoing referral, and then come back and say what sort of changed between DSQ2 and SQ3, because there were some changes, and what's going forward in R4, and what we're looking at is going to change there. Okay, so what is a referral? So I pulled out the old Google machine, so thank you Google Brain. Yeah, so the Oxford Dictionary said it's directing a patient from a specialist to primary care or some other form of care. To me, it's either going to be as simple, it's just I need the paperwork done so I can do my claims, or as a GP I can get paid for whatever that service is, or it's going to be a complex, detailed sharing of care information. So they're the two major things. Part of that is in some cases it's not just sharing information, but you're transferring that care across. So the responsibility is being leveraged from one practitioner, one organisation to another. So the whole status of the referral is a big deal. Okay, so super simple referral workflow. Practitioner says, okay, I need to refer this patient somewhere. You say, well, who am I going to send this referral to? So I need to locate where is that destination I need to send it. And so I'll fill out the required referral form. It might be a really simple document to say, please see Brian to deal with his blah, 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 blah. Or it could be a long, detailed form. So I'm going to then attach all the required documentation. So I had some blood tests done, so we'll attach those. Some imaging that was done, we'll attach those. And the diagnostic report. So let's attach that. And then we want to send that off to the destination. Does that seem like a pretty standard, normal referral? Yeah, at least one nod. So what are the challenges in referral? So what makes this hard? Well, who can I send to? So that seems like a simple question, but how do I know where is that information? So I need to go and be able to find that information. What format can they receive? So I might say, okay, yes, open up the white pages or Google and say, Dr. Smith, I get an address, but what formats do I have to send him a fax? Can he support an electronic message? Does he support a V2 message? Okay, yes, he supports HL7 V2 message, but does that mean he supports a RefI12 message? Does he handle ORU messages? You get the idea, or he wants a CDA document. So what's that format? Do they have something specific in the content? So they might accept a RefI12 with a PDF, but they want this particular set of results before they'll actually see the patient. So we need to know what that is. What delivery mechanisms do they support? So is it direct messaging? Is there some proprietary web service that needs to be used? Do I have to resort to a fax? Or do I print it, give it in an envelope, and send it off with the patient? So what's the reality there of getting that content through? And how can I be assured that it got through in a timely manner and was securely transferred? So that sort of fits into that same delivery. And from the receiver's point of view, I wasn't able to process this message or this referral because I was missing item X, so whatever that was. So we need to get through. So how can we get through with FIRE? What is the status of that referral? Did they accept the transfer of care or did they reject it? So that's pretty good. We need to know that. So supporting referrals, so rather than looking at that simple step, So what's a more complete pipeline? So we have okay, I want to create that outgoing referral. If we remember back to those couple of items, we need to discover. So we need to discover who the person is. In order to perform a discovery, we need to have a directory or something that we can get at, and that directory itself needs to have a heap of directory definitions. So what content do we need in that directory to be able to support that information, which we'll look at the templates later. Delivery mechanisms, and of course the workflow to fit within that. So that's all pretty good. And then on the other side, so an outgoing referral and creating that's one part, but then the other half is, as the receiver of referrals, I need to be able to process that coming in. So we need to receive it, we need to process it, which will be, so you might have triage staff that actually look at stuff. You might have software that checks it to make sure all the information is required, send back or reject insufficient information, or going through. An appointment happens, see the patient, and go, we'll accept this patient, or we'll do a review, and we'll fly through, send those replies back, and of course the workflow to say all this stuff happens. Okay, so from a fire resource perspective, so let's have a look at what resources are involved. So as you guess, this is the DST2 name for the resource, which is the referral request. And we have to create the referral, and it's going to happen in the context of an encounter. So I'll have an encounter resource, create my referral, and point that back at the encounter that it happened with. Next, we're going to attach that supporting information to go with that referral. And so we might have a mix of structured, so a questionnaire response with items within it, so which was built up. I might have some document references, so some PDF content or something like that, which would sit in the binary to go along with that. And of course, the questionnaire response needs a definition, which is a questionnaire. So which is that. And how do we get that questionnaire? Well, that questionnaire came from the healthcare service, which would have went through that service request to say we want that done. And of course, we do want all that other supporting information in the medical record, so we've attached observations, diagnoses, medical statements, and ... So what other content that the practitioner felt was important to be included with that. So then we need to be able to track that activity. So I need to know I've sent it, and now when that acceptance or rejectance has happened, that goes through our task mechanism, which links back to activities. So now cutting back across to our referral templates. So that template is how we actually associate in the definitional side what that is. So we've got from our directory of services, we have our practitioners, organisations and locations, and all derived down into a healthcare service, which has the strong metadata for the questionnaire. And then we need to have some tagging. Exactly how we're doing that with the fire structures is not completely clear at the moment, but the concept is we need to mark what selectors we need to have so that it can be more automated and more sensible. So that allows the receiver to define in the directory, this is the information I want you to send me. Yeah. Okay, so then from the incoming referral side, so I'll receive in our messaging our referral request resource. So I'm going to have a look at it, and I'll probably not have a look at all the other things that are attached. And we had all that supporting information and everything else. So that's all coming with the referral request. I'm probably just going to have onto the header and referral request, and then put that in the system, and then I'll create an appointment to go and see the patient. So there's no encounters, there's nothing else there. So I may not even have the patient registered in the system yet. So I've just got an incoming queue of work to do, and we'll connect that up. So now our patient rocks up, has its encounter, which we then reference back to the appointment, so we know that's been dealt with, and we've marked that here's the incoming referral, which it is dealt with. The practitioner then has a look at that supporting information, goes, okay, this is all good, and you might import that into the system so I can not have to re-enter that, which is pretty cool. And once again, we know the context of how it got there, and we can construct that response and send that task response back to the sender. So if we try and put all of that back together again, we see that there's all of these different components all fit together within the same stuff. I present them as the two different sides because when you flick back and have a look, the incoming referral and the outgoing referral, the outcoming, I'm not really worried about the appointment encounter to come and see them, and the task is for the request side, and on the incoming, I'm not that worried about the encounter that it came from, because that's probably not even my system. I'm worried about the one that was dealing with the incoming side. So you've got that sort of isolation. Even if you have them in the same system, you can end up having those two different flows. That's good. So status management. So this is the task and the referral. So the task has a status that flows between, and the referral itself has a status. So that's internal processing, and then when I want to communicate the result of that referral, I'll then put that back through a task message to get that back, a task response. And so it goes through. I think that's from the spec, so I don't think I really need to drill in that for everybody else. It'll put you all to sleep, and it would be quite unpleasant. So the process of creating referrals should be quite simple. I really need the patient's details, the details who I'm sending the referral to, so my details as the sender, and some details of the service that I'm referring it to, and optionally some additional background on the information. So yeah, that's all good. So the basics, hopefully we can see that. Thankfully we're not at the front, you can only see half of it. So we're creating the referral request message. We may or may not have an ID from the creation side. I have for my content. So our draft status, so while we create it until we submit it, once we're happy, when it's occurring, the priority of the message. And I'll notice that the system, we've got an internal priority code. So if we look at it, when I go and send this from our connectingcare.com product into Cerner, they're going to look at it and go, I've got no idea what that priority code is. So we need to use a concept map to try and make those mappings or come up with an agreement between us what the appropriate thing is. We have our reference to the patient, which has our display value. So yes, I'm being looked after. And we have our practitioner, who's got David Hay, which is over in the corner. Thank you, David. And we note the reference here is a recipient, and it's going to some counselling services. So does anyone know what that hash recipient is? Apart from again? No? So what does the hash mean in a reference?
Internal?
It's an internal, so it's a contained resource within this resource. So I don't have it showing there. In that ... would be the contained collection, and I would have the details of that resource actually in line. So whereas this is referring to patient 45, which is a relative reference to the patient resource on this service. Yep. And the same with Dr. David Hay. And please, those creating servers, serving up content, put the display values in. It makes it so much easier to debug. I heavily encourage it. And we want the date when we're going to send this so that they know when it was sent. So that's sort of about who created it and what my basic details were. Then we can look at the service information. So a referral is being sent to someone for a purpose. So how do we encode the purpose of the referral? So it comes through the type. So we have a type which says I'm going to refer you for, so SCTT 2012 is a service coordination tool template, which is an Australian referral template definition. So we understand what that means from the Victorian sense, so we can understand what that is. And we're being referred for a particular specialty. And so we get some textual. Ryan seeks some counselling to cope with his increased workload trying to present at DevDays. Yep. In the ENT department, yes. And description, and so service requested. I need some serious counselling. We should talk about that, David. So that sort of makes sense? Now, that's supporting information, so what else gets attached in there? So we attach binary attachment, so we can put our PDF in, which is quite clean. We can put our service coordination templates, we can attach our condition, we can attach our observation, we can attach our blood pressure. So that's the other types of information. So then, all that difficult knowledge sort of now encapsulated. We think we've covered off what's mandatory information. We may not. We can then have found that during the discovery phase. Now we can send it via messaging or just straight on the server and start a fire workflow process. So that's quite optional what's going on there. So is any of this done today? So outside of our organisation, I'm sure there are other activities, but we've got inside several of our products, haven't covered the actual referral request resource. I'm still working on that one. We do have questionnaires and questionnaire responses, so we've done the fully detailed form of that. We've done the terminology resources. So how we tie into the terminology sets. Then there's a whole bunch of other stuff that we haven't dealt with. Then the full directory suite, so we cover, and then going on. So this is one of our screens, which actually, see if I can run that in the background. And hopefully the network.
What happens to the task resource once you create that referral? How do you mix that in?
So how do we then get that task resource? So what goes on with that?
Yeah.
So the task resource, I'm not fully across yet, so I'm still learning that just like all of you guys are as well. But so it can either post that to a server, whether it's a polling situation or a messaging situation, and share that resource about. And so then you return the results on that to get additional info. So that's really not being particularly helpful there. I'll let that tick away in the background, and with any luck, we'll get something. So this particular app was just for creating a referral, so it wasn't an existing patient management system, so there was no search capacity, but you did get to actually type it in, and you could choose to attach those PDFs or other content, or complete a referral online, which used the forms that were allocated to the target you were presenting to. That's really quite unfortunate. I don't have a local copy of that either. So yeah, so within that particular set of referral templates, there were some drug and alcohol ratings, so that you did the scored versions of that content to get more in there. And it was linked up against recording your current set of services against it. And so you use a set of services, noting this particular template the service type was a large set of values, so you didn't want to have a checkbox associated. So the questionnaire definition had an autocomplete style lookup. So you'd start typing and it'd start dropping down like that. So the difference between 5 versions, so DSTU2 to STU3, so there was quite a few changes to the properties, specifically around aligning for workflow and the task-related properties. So because the task was new in STU3 from 2, so the stuff that was on referral in 2 that was a part of task was taken out so that you were intended to use that. And in STU2 there was order and order response, which were removed as well. So then STU3 to 4 has been merged with referral request and procedure request were merged into the one resource, and as a result of that, it's subsequently been named service request. So depending on which particular build you look at, you might find that there's a referral request, there's only a procedure request, or if you're looking at what will be in the January Connectathon build, it'll be called service request. So have a check through if you're doing migrations, check up on those names. And we're still seeking feedback in the spec on those updated definitions. So very much encouraged to get in there and have a look. Have a quick look at the spec itself. Has it up again. So referral request. So I'm sure you've all been and had a look at the spec. I will highlight this little R2 diff tab. So has everyone seen the R2 diff tab? There we go. That's opening again. So it tells you what are the new properties that have been added since DSTU2 and what ones have been removed. So there's only a couple that are removed that have gone into the task, and a lot of the rest of this has been added as a part of the workflow content. Okay, so just a quick demo on that referral. Hopes everything's all still running fine. So one of the things that we've seen from general GP systems, a lot of them have a set of built-in templates or word templates that you go and say, start writing your referral. It's just a structured Word document really. And they type it and they send it. And so they go and create the template, fill it out, and then choose who they're sending it to, and then try and deliver it. So the issue with that particular workflow is you've selected a template before you know where it's going. And therefore, the knowing where it's going doesn't necessarily have at the start all the mandatory templates. They might want a completely different set of templates or a set of extra templates to go in. So we see that the preferred mechanism is to go and look for who you're sending it to. Is location, search, and that goes away and finds out, well, who are the people at those level. That's the discovery phase. Apparently the server in Melbourne is a long way away from yeah, I don't know what time it is. My body has no idea what time it is.
Question.
Yes?
What's the idea with the federation of the repository? Who owns the definition of available care? And do you copy that from all your partners into your registry as submitting?
That's a great question. And the full answer to that I would do in the directory session, which is tomorrow. Heavily encouraged to come along and have a look at that. It's really, so it's how do you get that discovery phase when you want to share that stuff from your organisation, say we provide these services, how do other organisations see that set? And so it really goes through, do you publish that to a central location? In Australia we have a central directory that can be published to, so it is quite possible to do that. Otherwise there needs to be a federation so that you can search and do that discovery. So yeah. There you go, so that search did come back eventually. This is the UAT platform. So eventually we have two capacities, one's sending a simple message and the other one's sending a referral. Just hoping, maybe it's just me, this Wi-Fi is long. So we get to see the basic details, so we know who it's going to. So based on that, who it's going to, there's a set of templates. Hey, Ido, that's your Spanish cousin. First of 1970. Ido is not going to describe that. Sidestep quite a few issues there. And we can see there's a whole heap of different templates. So this particular set of referrals is quite a complex one, so I could attach a PDF if that's what I choose, or I can complete that online. Now, each of these templates here is a fire questionnaire. So the full definition and behaviour of that is coming through fire. The fastest way to slow it down is to ask it to do something else as well.
Brian, is it the Wi-Fi or the server? Because if it's the Wi-Fi, I can put it on hotspot for you.
I don't know what the answer to that is, because this is our UAT platform, so theoretically there should be no one doing anything. There could also be backups and goodness knows why.
So if you can check the Wi-Fi.
Alright.
Do you see a blue thing in there? Not a blue thing. That's what should be called.
Reconnect.
Yeah, it's really helping us analyze it. Alright. I'll let that go in the background. Yeah, so we are looking for feedback on those different changes. I guess the summary is it's the files, the referral, the actual referral resource itself is only a part of the picture. So if you're just looking at the referral resource, you're missing out on the whole deal. So we really look at it is the header, which then collates all that other information along with it, whether it's the simple document to be attached or a whole set of metadata plus the supporting material in the real resources. And then it's how we support that with the directories, which we need to get in there, and more about those tomorrow in our directory session. And the task resource supports those workflows. And yeah, asking you as you should know your part in the referral solution. So are you a sender, are you a receiver? Are you processing it? Are you part of the delivery chain? So in our organisation, we're a big part of the delivery side, and we're also a sender. So we know what our part in the picture is.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, watch for that service request change in R4. And that's still not going to come up. Okay, that's part of the demo, it's just not going to happen. Okay, was there any questions? I've sort of come around, there's a lot of faces there. Yep.
What exactly is the relationship to the workflow resource?
So back into the referrals. So it's through the task, so the task request response resource. So that's the main workflow component. And between the activity definition and the plan definition is the other side of it. So they're the two resources involved. So go back here. So go to resources, activity definition is the definitional part of it. So it defines the definition of that resource or that workflow, or the step within the workflow. a look at. So that actually gives you the when it was reviewed, who's going on, how often do we need to deal with it, what's being referenced, and where is it going from. The other one, which is the actual task, so ST task is what you actually create. So going through that. So you can see it's based on, so request fulfilled, so that would be referencing based on references our referral request, status of where it's up to, for Actimon, so focus is our requester agent, so in our example that was going from Dr. Hay, he would be the agent, and that would be Dr. Hay's clinic, would be in that. And the owner. So that's the resource to go looking through. Yeah.
There's actually a whole section of the spec on workflow.
In fact, there is, yes. So the top part go to workflow, and that will walk you through the process, the infrastructure, the task, the definition, and that's where that use case is, the privacy. The diagram that was on there. Okay. But yeah, that's the other half of it. Yep.
Yeah, how does the referral present it to the recipient?
So from a user experience or from?
Yeah, is it automatically integrated with the receiving system, or?
So that's so from an EHR perspective, so that's an application-specific detail. So whether they've just got, so the one that when we receive them in ours, we actually convert that message into an email, and we send an email out to our customer, so the actual practitioner, because ours is designed around there not being an EHR. So we've got nothing to actually send it to. So we pop it up in a PKI encrypted email and pass it through, so which is kind of cool. But yeah, it really depends what's the system's flow. Cool. That's pretty cool. I guess we sort of, that cuts us about 5 minutes ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
Which is
Unique.
good, I guess. But yeah, happy for other questions. Yeah, tomorrow we're talking about, I've got 2 topics tomorrow, which is directories, which covers how directories fit into the infrastructure, how they fit across other directories, so what's the relationship between multiple directories, which was sort of heading towards the question we had here. And the other topic I'm doing is on questionnaires, which is some of the nitty-gritty details on what you can do with questionnaires, what sort of capacities you can get, and I'll actually make sure that the web is actually running or run locally, so don't have those connection issues. Yeah, let's actually go through that. So do come along and see those. Thank you.